Today, we're about to uncover some of the darkest crimes ever committed by ordinary-looking people. The most terrifying monsters don't always hide in the shadows. Sometimes they smile at you. They walk beside you. They blend into everyday life without anyone realizing what they're truly capable of. Imagine passing someone on the street, never knowing that behind their calm expression could be a mind consumed by cruelty. This first case began with a single emergency phone call. A frightened woman contacted police, her voice shaking with fear. She claimed that a young woman was locked inside a house with a heavy chain around her neck. At first, the officers thought it sounded impossible. It felt more like a horror movie than real life. But they responded anyway. Minutes later, they arrived at the address. The house looked strange. Every window had been covered with wooden boards. The doors were tightly sealed. No sound, no movement, nothing. It felt as if the house itself was trying to hide a terrible secret. Then, everything changed. A desperate scream echoed from an upstairs window. The officers froze for only a second before rushing toward the house. Someone was trapped inside. Without hesitation, they forced the door open. What they found left everyone speechless. Standing inside the room was a terrified young woman. Around her neck was a thick metal chain. But the chain wasn't simply locked around a post. It had been permanently bolted into the floor using heavy iron anchors. Someone had carefully built a prison for another human being. The officers immediately realized this wasn't an ordinary kidnapping. This place had been designed to keep someone trapped for a very long time. As the investigation continued, the truth became even darker. The victim explained that she had lived in constant fear. She was threatened, intimidated, and physically abused. Every single day, she was told that if she ever tried to escape, she would be killed. Eventually, the fear became so overwhelming that she stopped believing rescue was even possible. She truly believed she would die inside that house. But investigators soon discovered that imprisonment was only part of the nightmare. The man responsible had allegedly forced the victim into exploitation while maintaining complete psychological control over her. Step by step, he broke her confidence, her hope, and her freedom. By the end, she no longer felt like she had control over her own life. The most disturbing detail wasn't hidden inside the house. It was hidden in plain sight. Neighbors described the suspect as quiet, polite, completely ordinary. No one suspected that behind that ordinary face was someone capable of unimaginable cruelty. And perhaps that's the most frightening truth of all. Real monsters don't always look like monsters. Our next case takes us to Ohio. At first, police believed they were investigating a routine assault, but within hours, they realized they had stepped into something far more disturbing. It all began when a young woman escaped from a remote property, terrified, exhausted, and desperate for help. She told officers that a couple had lured her there. According to her statement, she had been threatened, physically abused, and prevented from leaving. No one yet realized how dark this investigation would become. Following the evidence, police located the suspect's compound. But when officers arrived, the couple had already disappeared, vanishing into the nearby woods. The house stood silent, almost abandoned, but what waited inside was enough to leave experienced investigators speechless. Near the middle of one room officers noticed what appeared to be an ordinary children's playpen. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual. But as they moved closer, they realized the horrifying truth. It wasn't a playpen. It was a cage. A wooden cover had been secured across the top. Heavy zip ties reinforced every side, making escape almost impossible. Inside sat a 3-year-old child. The smell inside the room was overwhelming. Spoiled milk bottles, filth, and signs of prolonged confinement surrounded the child. As officers carefully opened the cage, they struggled to comprehend how anyone could treat another human being this way. The search continued. Each room revealed something even more disturbing. Sharp knives, drug paraphernalia, dangerous objects scattered across the floor. The entire house had become a hazardous environment, yet children had been living there. Then investigators uncovered another chilling discovery: a journal. Its pages contained disturbing notes about punishment, control, and strict rules imposed inside the house. Piece by piece, investigators realized this was far more than an isolated abuse case. It exposed the disturbing reality of a household where fear, control, and violence had become part of everyday life. For the officers involved, it was a reminder that some of the darkest crimes can remain hidden behind the walls of what appears to be an ordinary home. The horror didn't end there. Just weeks later, another chilling case unfolded in Akron, Ohio. At first, investigators believed it was a robbery that had turned deadly. But the truth was far more terrifying. Everything began when a woman arrived at her friend's home. The moment she stepped inside, she froze. Then she screamed. Lying on the floor was the lifeless body of 59-year-old Benny King. The room was covered in blood. Blood stained the walls, the bed, even the hallway. Crime scene investigators quickly realized this had been an exceptionally violent attack. The victim had been stabbed 33 times. Evidence suggested the assault began inside the bedroom. Despite his injuries, Benny desperately tried to crawl away. But the attacker followed him through the house, leaving a trail of blood behind. The defensive wounds on his hands revealed one heartbreaking truth. He fought until his very last breath. As investigators searched the home, another mystery appeared. The house had been ransacked. Drawers were open. Furniture had been disturbed. Yet, very few valuables were missing. Only the kitchen cabinets showed signs that someone had been searching frantically for cash. Detectives soon focused on 2 local brothers, Justin and Johnny. Both reportedly struggled with drug-related problems and were believed to be desperate for money. Only days before the murder, the victim had reportedly forced them off his property. Suspicion quickly grew. Then, another witness came forward. Around the time of the murder, an old gold-colored Hummer was seen speeding away from the neighborhood. Investigators later connected the vehicle to a local man, known by the nickname Jaybird. Every new clue seemed to point in the same direction. But detectives were about to discover something even more disturbing. Only weeks later, another victim was found. The crime scene looked hauntingly familiar. The same level of violence, the same terrifying pattern, the same brutal method. That was the moment investigators realized they might not be chasing a single killer for a single crime. They could be hunting a serial killer. Cases like these serve as a chilling reminder that evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides behind an ordinary face, behind an ordinary smile, and behind an ordinary life. Stay aware, trust your instincts, protect yourself and the people you love. Because sometimes the most dangerous monsters are the ones we never see coming. Thank you for watching. These 3 cases are only a small glimpse into the darkest corners of human nature. Every year, countless victims disappear, are abused, or lose their lives at the hands of people who once appeared completely normal. The frightening reality is that evil doesn't always have a terrifying face. Sometimes it wears a friendly smile. Sometimes it earns people's trust before revealing its true intentions. That is why awareness can save lives. Always pay attention to unusual behavior. Never ignore your instincts. And if someone around you appears to be in danger, don't stay silent. One phone call, one decision could become the difference between life and death. If this story left you shocked, remember, these weren't scenes from a horror movie. They were real investigations that changed real lives forever. Stay alert, stay safe, and never underestimate the darkness that can hide behind an ordinary face. If you enjoy true crime documentaries based on real investigations, make sure to subscribe, because there are many more unbelievable cases still waiting to be uncovered. Until next time, take care and stay safe.